Up till now, we've mostly been dealing with single pages that display on their own in the previewer. I'm going to show you what you can do in terms of navigation if you've got more than one page. So let's create our first page and let's stick an image in there. Let's go with this one. And let's put some text underneath him. Beef that up a bit. Let's put a headline in. And let's say we've got a second page here as well. I'm going to call that another page. And we're going to put in another picture. So here we've got a basic magazine. We've got one page, 2 pages. Let's save this. We're going to call this Stacks. Build to our simulator directory. Switch over to Previewer and choose Stacks. So by default here, we've got our first page. We scroll to the right, we've got our second page. That's our default direction of navigation, is left to right, scrolling. What you can do on the build panel, you'll see there's this little checkbox here, export as vertical stack. Tick that and build. Switch back to our previewer, and what we have now is those 2 same pages but stacked vertically, one on top of the other. And you're not confined to doing this for your entire magazine. You can have a vertical stack of pages followed by a page next to it horizontally, followed by whatever you like. You can mix vertical and horizontal scrolling however you like within your issue. The only thing to be careful of is that your users don't get really confused about where they are. So be sure to add some kind of guide as to where they are within the issue and which direction they can navigate in. While we're in the build panel, I will touch on the batch build feature, which you may have noticed when we've had no documents open within InDesign. The build panel looks a little bit different. It detects that you haven't got anything open and it shows you this alternative view, which is the batch build. Now what this takes is an input folder, an output folder, and then when you hit batch build, what it'll do is it'll look in your input folder and every subdirectory within that, every subdirectory within those subdirectories, and so on, every single InDesign document that it finds, it will open, it will perform a build, and then it will close it again and move on to the next document. So this is really nice if you've got your entire magazine, all of the InDesign documents for it sit within one folder. You then want to rebuild the entire issue, then you choose your folder, and here we've been saving all of ours to a documents folder, so we'll choose that. You would choose the output folder where you want them all to build to. Let's choose our page builds folder, and you would say batch build, go off and make a cup of tea while it opens each of those in turn, builds them and closes them. Just saves you having to do everything manually yourself. You can see it gives you a little counter of where it's got to. And there it's finished. And you can see it's got this extra option here of JPEG quality. Now usually you just leave that as standard, but if for some reason your pictures weren't coming out quite how you wanted your JPEGs to be slightly higher quality, you can change that, or lower quality. If we go into Finder now and look in our page builds folder, you can see now we've got a whole lot more page builds in there that the batch build has done for us. So if we go back to our issue build here, we will choose our page builds directory. Now because we used this directory previously, and we set up 2 sections with specific pages in, everything that wasn't part of our original spec has been dumped into our unused pages folder for us to position them how we want to. So that's not going to mess up any existing setup you've got there, but that's what's come through your issue layout file. So if we wanted to, we could set up extra sections, drag these pages into them, and build an issue that contains every single page that we've covered off in our tutorials.